Okay, so as we get started, my question for you all, have any of you explored past life healing, or is this the first for everybody?
I
First,
have.
first.
Okay, and who said I have?
Me, Amber.
Oh, really? Okay, what kind of, tell me about that.
All right. Well, back in early 2000s, I did some classes with spiritual actualization and enlightenment
Oh, cool.
center. And the man there did past life readings and, the whole gamut, not just past life, but healing and things like that. So I've had 3 or 4 done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
and
I'm
very cool.
excited to see if maybe some things that I saw compare. Um, But yeah, just to kind of give you a brief overview, it's like people will hear things like, oh, past lives. Oh, have I had a past life? And most likely, yeah, we all have. And especially if you're to this point where you are starting to ask some deeper questions. You're like, I feel like there's something here for me. I feel like I want to explore a deeper aspect of myself. Then chances are not only have you lived lives, like you've lived a ton of lives. When I tell people how many different lives they've had, like they're shocked. And I mean, even like for me, I've been on this earth thousands of times. Like this is not new for me. And
Yeah,
even as a kid, yeah.
I'm sorry. You can go.
Oh, okay. Even as a kid, I was very aware that this wasn't my first presence here. But then as time went on, I went deeper into my own spiritual gifts and I had realized, wow, okay, it's because we are going through a space of ascension where we're going deep into our consciousness and we're starting to pull all of these weeds of these things that no longer serve us. So before I go into each of your lives, what the purpose of today is I want to show you how we create specific subconscious beliefs. We create beliefs about ourselves. We create subconscious beliefs about the world around us. And somehow, as we go each into these incarnations, when we create a belief that is not in alignment with our soul, so let's say we have all of these horrible experiences and we think, oh, well, I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. What happens is we have these specific 3D realities that start playing out. So what we want to do is we want to come into a space where we're observing that. We're seeing these specific patterns so we can shift it. And I recently had a session with my past life healer, Jacqueline, and I put it inside Sōlchemy. You should look at it. It was posted like a month ago. I'll try to pin it. But I noticed, for example, I kept getting issues with my business. It's like I would get it to a certain place and then it would crash. Like I would go weeks with no clients and then it would like just up and down. And I'm like, okay, we've dealt with these blocks 50 bajillion times. Like I legit was pissed off. I'm like, how many times do we have to do this? So we went into my consciousness and it was wild how many different lives that I had where it was like I would reach the pinnacle of success. Like I had it all. Family life, love life, work was great. But then something would happen. It was either like a natural disaster, like my spouse would die, maybe like I would die. It was like I reached that point and then it would all be taken away. So there was some level of subconscious sabotage that was limiting me from being able to truly get to what I wanted, was to have this like thriving, successful platform. Because in my subconscious eyes, it was like, okay, Mac, well, you just moved into the house you wanted, your husband and yourself, you're doing great. You love being a mom, but like, if we put this piece together, something bad is going to happen, was kind of what continued to play out. And it was incredible because right after we had finished that session, I did some breath work the following morning, released all this stuff. And it was almost within an hour, I was getting emails back. People were on my calendar. My TikTok was blowing up. And that just goes to show you the power of when you start shifting and moving energy within your subconscious, how quickly things can change. So that's why I keep preaching this whole, like, your mindset kind of doesn't matter. Our conscious mind only has so much power. But when we start going a little bit deeper, unraveling and uncovering all of these different layers of ourselves, we can shift our reality. And that's where I come in, specifically working more so with past lives, because this is where we'll find where these specific subconscious belief systems about ourselves were created. And now we, whether you're aware of it or not, we're like, okay, like, this isn't working. Let's start pulling the weeds. So I went into a few of your past lives pretty briefly. So understand this wasn't like a super long channel on any of you. I was just looking for snippets to try to like get some ideas of what's going on here. And Amber, we'll start with you because you were my first one. And just so you know, I don't know any of you. All I know is that you joined Sōlchemy and I messaged you and I was like, hey, I'm going to look at your lives. And she's just said, take a look at relationships. So the first thing I saw, Amber, was this was Europe 1600s. Okay, let me just remember what I saw. Okay, so you were preparing your husband's body for a funeral. Sorry, so I truly don't mean to get super dark today. And what they were showing me was like, this was like your companion, like you guys were really happy together. And then you tried symbolically, they were showing me you getting in the coffin with him because you were just so like you're just so sad that he passed away, because he was really kind of the only person you had. Like you lived a very isolated life. And the emotion that came through was this immense level of loneliness. So what ended up happening was you did have support from the community. So even though you were kind of like isolated, you would have people come out from like the village. Oh shoot, I gotta let all these people in. Here we go. I didn't realize they were waiting. Hi everybody, sorry, I just saw you now waiting. Thing. Leah, I'm so glad you're here. We're just getting into some lives. I'm sorry, I'm getting used to the whole Zoom thing and you guys were waiting. I didn't realize I had to actually click submit, but I'm glad you're all here. And we're just talking about Amber's lives real quick. So what was going on here, Amber, was that people would come in and you would kind of wait for them to bring you things to survive. And you would rely on the kindness of these people to come bring you stuff. And you were actually like this really cute little lady, like waiting for people to come. But what was going on is that there was an experience of self-reliance here. But a belief was created, and I'll go into your next life, because there's a belief that you hold within inside of you that you need others in order to be happy. Like there's some level of reliance is what they're showing me with even like the people. You relied on your husband, you relied on these people. And this has played out for you and is playing out for you in a lot of different lifetimes. And I'm not sure if you're aware, I know this sounds like so stereotypical, but I really don't see like a ton of World War I and World War II stuff, but you were a soldier World War II. And they showed me you, and I didn't know if it was like any different from like if you were begging or proposing, but you were like begging this girlfriend to stay with you before you were basically shipped off to war. So again, there was a level of reliance, like I can only be happy if I know you're here waiting for me, sort of thing. But then but Spirit was saying that like there were bigger themes being played out in this lifetime. That was just like a snippet. But you were killed in combat. I was just curious. I'm like, well, did he make it home? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh. But I want to see if that resonates with you in terms of sort of playing out this theme that you need others for happiness. It does.
It has my whole life.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. that I mean, I know I'm very self-reliant and I know I can do things by myself, but I
Mhm.
guess there's that underlying, I'm not complete unless there's someone there with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's very common. And that's a really hard thing to get through because we're wired to want the safety and companionship of someone else. And what happens when we don't have that? It's like we experience the lack of, but what we're really experiencing is the lack of ourselves,
Yeah.
the wholeness of ourselves. So I'm curious, like how we can kind of move. Like I said, this was like a really quick view. I usually in sessions will have like very specific what's next. But I did enjoy what is in front of you now. Enjoy what is in front of you now. So I'm curious like how we can move that forward for you. Maybe some things, what have you been doing up to this point to sort of focus on yourself?
Not really a lot, actually. I say that almost tongue in cheek because I do spend a lot of time by myself. The man that I live with, in fact, I just dropped him at the airport this morning. He goes to family, a month or so at a time. I enjoy time by myself. I paint, I'm a photographer, so I can fill my time. I have friends that I meet for lunch or dinner, or I like going to movies by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as stepping into that life wholeness, there's still that block there. Like, I know
Okay.
I should be leaving this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but there's something here that's like, yeah, well, you need to figure that out before you even take a step.
Right. Okay, so we want to shift where that focus is in terms of always projecting this outside like fulfillment. And it's so much easier said than done. We're like, yeah, like just love yourself. But I mean, there's so many different layers to that that it's like, oh, good. Someone let me marry. There's so many different layers to that. And it is a process and a journey in which, for some reason, at a soul level, you wanted to experience that coming in here and moving that back to
Right.
self. So I'm going to write a few notes down just because I want to get into the other lives,
Okay.
but
So
I'll think about what we can do with you.
Mac, you asked what I've been doing. I do have affirmations like on my mirrors that say, I love you, you're enough, and I see these and like everything has already come to me, I don't, things like that. So I've got
Okay.
affirmations that I work with, but there's still this thing.
Right. And that's where it's like affirmations are great to a point, but it's like, think of it this way. These affirmations where people will say like, I am rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. And then they're like still dirt poor. It's because the subconscious mind doesn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like it's always going to take the most powerful belief that it has, and it's I am poor. Like you have to actually work in the consciousness, in the subconscious, and be like, we're going to switch that around because that's how you shift your reality. So I'll think of some stuff for you and I'll reach out to you and we can work on some of that stuff. But yeah, so that's what I got. Thank you, Amber, for being
you.
okay, Kelly. Is Kelly here?
Hello. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
there
right
she
here.
is.
Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes, I can. I just can't
Okay.
see you. But that's
Oh,
okay.
I have it on.
Oh, there you are.
Um.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. The way my screen is, I only see, I guess, part of who people, like, I don't see the whole screen. But
Yeah.
now I see you now that, okay, perfect. Okay, I just have to remember what we're talking, what I saw. Okay, so I remember this now. Life purpose. Okay, young boy, New York, 1920s, lots of labor jobs and delivery. So
Great.
I remember, okay, so this life also, I thought it was funny because it was very similar to Amber's in a way because you were learning to be self-sufficient was like a big theme in this lifetime. So young boy, you were very resourceful though and focused. It was kind of like you knew exactly what to do. Like you would
Yeah.
maneuver through the city on this little bike and you always were focused and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go do this to go make some money. I'm going to do that. Like, and you knew how to like not take no from people. And I don't know if you're like that now, but it was like, you were like,
Yeah.
you were like, I'm going to go, I need this job, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But what was going on, I'm not sure why it would have taken me like a long time to get all the information, but you had little to no family support. So it did leave you a bit lonely and you did die young in this life between 30 and
Wow.
40. But you did accomplish a lot in that like small amount of time. But you did, as much as you were lonely, you did like the independence. Like there was a sense of adventure in this lifetime. And then your next life. Oh yeah, okay, this was cool. I don't have a time period for it, but it was Mediterranean coast. Again, you were a male and you were some sort of monkey keeper. I kept seeing all these monkeys. I'm like, that is so cool. But I didn't really understand the context of it because it wasn't like a
Yeah.
zoo or anything. It was kind of like your voluntary, like go out and like
Like
make sure that the
collecting monkeys.
yeah, like you would make sure that these monkeys were well kept, but like people knew you for this, like in the area, like that was just kind of your job. So you were very dedicated to this. You took it seriously. And so when I asked between these two different lives, it was nothing, your subconscious belief is nothing is trivial if you focus on it.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I thought that was kind of cool. Like I was excited to
Yeah,
get a
it's cool.
positive subconscious belief because usually they're
Yeah.
like negative. But
Yeah.
okay, so she can focus on whatever she likes and make something of it. She has an incredible power of presence. What you focus on, you move towards. She likes to leave an open book. It's like she writes in it and then she can erase it. She can focus / create what she wants. There is no hard agenda in this life.
Wow.
So
And
that's
my
what.
current one?
Mhm.
Wow.
So tell
Interesting.
me about this because sometimes I need to be filled in. Like they tell me, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't really know, but do you feel like you have an ability to focus on things and they just kind of like make it
No,
happen?
I don't really have any like prime interest. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom right now, so I do that. I'm also in school, but I don't really have like a career in mind. Like I like being a stay-at-home mom temporarily, but it feels like I just kind of like go with the flow and do whatever. I don't know. I feel like I don't have anything in my life that's like a direct focus for me, like long term. So
Okay.
I always kind of feel like in the middle of things.
So it kind of goes to you like to leave an open book.
Yeah. Nothing's for
Interesting.
sure, I feel like.
Okay. Are you looking to kind of make things a little bit more? I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I just feel like bored with life sometimes. Like I'm in my mid to late 20s, so I feel like I'm a mom, but like I don't really do anything fun or for myself. And so I always feel like I put others first and then I'm in the back burner.
Mhm.
And I feel like I just don't have a direction normally. I don't know.
Okay.
It's strange.
Well, welcome to mommyhood.
Yeah.
It's
It's
you
a
are doing
handful.
really big things because I feel that way too, being a mom. It's like,
Yeah.
when I do want to do things, it's difficult because that is the literal focus.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how they were saying though, it's like this life, you did know what you wanted, this young boy. And it's kind of like when
Mhm.
you create that focus, probably with some level of intention, like you can make it happen. It's just like
Yeah.
you need to have the focus in order to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, because when it was like, I'm just trying to think if I remember seeing anything else in there. The power of presence. She can focus on whatever she likes and she can make something of it. But maybe that's the thing going, and as you get through like the young years of your kids, like I totally get it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll go back into your consciousness at some point and see what more I can find, because I am curious. Because I think the point is that once you make a decision to focus on something, it's not trivial.
Yeah.
Like there's an
Interesting.
energy that you have to sort of click it into gear. Because some
Okay.
people can't, it's like they're so blocked and they're so confused, like they can't create anything. Because you know, like you see on TikTok, people like shit on manifestation all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not real. And I'm like, no, it is. It's just that there's a skill set to it. There's like this inner energy that flips it. And I bet you
Mhm.
could do that. So I'll go back in because I'm curious
Okay.
what to do with this. Where spirit was going with that. Okay. Okay. Now, what were you doing before you were a mom?
I was just working like part-time jobs and in school. Like, I feel like I didn't really do anything else. I feel like I've always kind of been like almost like in limbo, like, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I was too in my 20s.
Yeah, just doing whatever comes next.
That was me.
Yeah.
Took me a while. You know, I had dinner with a friend this past year, and I didn't know if I was envious or like not envious, but she's always been like so focused, like knows exactly what to do. She's always had a super stable job with like 50 creative endeavors and whatnot. And she made a comment. She's like, yeah, I could probably retire in the next 3 years. And I was like, I haven't even started my career.
Yeah.
And I was 37 at the time she said that. I'm 38 now. But the point is, I feel you. Like there is no, it's never too late to start something. You are just getting started. So I'll look into that stuff. So
Okay.
we'll
Thank
go into
you.
the next thing. Okay, my renegade Haley.
Yes. By the way, I thought you were like in your 20s. You look so good.
Thank you.
You're
Just got that
welcome.
shine. No kidding. I appreciate that. I do. I feel like I'm still in my 20s, like still figuring myself out like everybody else. But Haley, okay, here we go. I'm really excited because I got some good stuff. It's not too specific, but I kept seeing like tombstone after tombstone after tombstone with you. So the point was that in all these different relationships, or I'm sorry, incarnations, you have dealt with a ton of death, and somehow that's getting translated to now.
Yep.
Okay.
I have it in this life too.
Okay. Is your mom still here, like on Earth?
Yes.
Okay. Because in this life, what they're showing me, and understand, like I've set specific boundaries that if things are like too upsetting, they don't show me stuff. They'll kind of like send me symbology things, but anything related to like child or animal abuse, won't see it. Holocaust, won't see it. So a lot of this is going to be symbology because this life was pretty rough. Early 1800s in the West, you lost your mom, and what I saw you was this like you were laying on her tombstone crying. And a man came up to you. And I don't know if this was a family member or not, but it was like you were now at the mercy of this man, and he was not a good dude. He was very abusive. So I was just seeing like a lot of guns, a lot of just kind of like with this guy, just constant, his hands are like constantly in bad shit. And he put you sort of on the forefront of it, doing sort of the labor work for him, like not to your own will. The reason why they were showing me that is that they were just kind of showing me that there's just this constant, like, it's just like a lot of bad stuff keeps happening over and over and over again. And in the next life, I saw you as a man, like a dad holding a child, like the child passed away. And I immediately felt this like horrible, heavy heart. What was going on with all of these different lives between basically other people like abusing you, but then also you feeling just totally out of control when it came to being able to like protect your own child, that you created a belief system you're operating from now that you're just not a good person, which is really,
Ooh,
which
I've got
sucks.
tears.
Yeah, does that resonate with you?
Yes, I could go into it, but I have a lot of that in this life as well. And I've actually been so scared to have a child because I don't want to end up like my mom. We're in a better
Oh.
place now, but there was a lot of childhood abuse and stuff.
Oh man. Yeah. Because that's what they like were getting at with all the, they're
Yeah, I
showing
didn't
me
really
abuse,
have
abuse,
the
abuse,
greatest
abuse.
of parents.
Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna write some of that stuff down. Okay.
And I do have a history of bad relationships in this life that I've realized has taken soul pieces of me.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel just kind of disconnected sometimes?
Yes,
Okay.
I feel disconnected from my true self a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, you might need some soul retrieval because I felt like you kind of like aspects of yourself kind of like went out because of all of this. It's like it's too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Disconnected from soul. I'm just writing this stuff down so I know if I don't write it down, I'll forget it. Retrieval
I
stuff.
get
So
that.
we
I have
should,
ADHD.
I think we all do. I think just being on earth right now is like, I think we're all like detaching from our bodies. We're like, what is going on here right now? Okay. So I do want to talk to you about some of this stuff because we can make this feel like a little less heavy because
Okay.
it's too much. Like I went into your energy and it was like so heavy and sad. Like literally my heart was hurting. So we need to like start weeding this stuff out. But I asked like, okay, what can you do? There's a lot of forgiveness, like self-forgiveness that needs to be made or done. And you can also use crystal energy to help you with that. Oh, I have the perfect thing for you. Remind me to send you. Let's send Healy crystal. Okay, I'm going to send you something. But this was interesting, Haley. I asked where this all started. I was like, okay, how did this get rolling? Like, why all these horrible lives and what's going on? It actually started back in Atlantis.
That's
And
so
I
cool.
got, yeah, so you've been around a long time. Like you're not new to Earth. But it's just right now in the specific incarnation, you are balancing a lot of deep karmic patterns because there was a lot of recklessness in your lives during Atlantis.
Yeah, I've always kind of been a rebel too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I called you a rebel. I was like, where's my rebel? Because I don't know exactly what was going on. I wanted to see it, but again, I like had so many people to get into. I couldn't take the time to do all this, but it was kind of like your first experiences with the physical and you're like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. So you were
that
just,
sounds like me.
you're like wrecking havoc basically. And so there are some patterns that are coming like kind of to a head right now. And so these deep, heavy karmic patterns, but you're carrying them into a level of awareness, meaning like they're coming up and it's getting cleared and healed right now, even though life can feel like it sucks. So yeah, my rebel.
Thank you so much. That actually did help. I feel a lot calmer after getting that.
Oh, good. And that's just the start. I think I want you to take a look at a couple things, and we're going to talk about it today. I think there's a lot of modalities here that can help you, just to make some of this stuff feel a little bit lighter. Because I think that's the thing. We have this idea that it's like we become so comfortable in our patterns and our routines and just life in general that we think, oh, that's just how it is. Like people who live with chronic anxiety, chronic worry, like, no, like we have to start like getting rid of this stuff. And there is a path where you can shift that. It's just not overnight. Like healing takes a while, because when working with energy, it's like if you remove too much too quickly and you kind of stir your energetic body's pot too fast, you create upheavals, and this is how psychosis starts. So it's slow, and you want it to be, otherwise it's too much. I saw a TikTok, this girl, God, I'm watching this, and she was talking about how her family, okay, it's not funny. I'm sorry, it's not funny. But her family put her into a psych ward because she went from just kind of like being herself. And then she said she had these crazy spiritual experiences and that it threw her into this massive level of psychosis. But she's like, everyone else is calling me crazy, but I know I'm not crazy. And she started talking about stuff. But the thing is, like, I knew what she was talking about. Like, she's not crazy. Like, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. The problem is that she, energetically speaking, wasn't honoring where she was at. It's like she jumped like too quickly. So there was a level of mental psychosis that was happening. So she wasn't honoring the layer by layer by layer of shifting those belief systems, shifting her energy, so her body and her mind can catch up. Because this vessel is very real. This vessel is just like the compass to what's going on in the energetic layers. And when you can't catch that up, it's like the brain gets fried.
I actually had a bout of psychosis too. So it's kind of funny you bring that up.
Oh, you did?
I had diagnosed with psychosis. I have like bipolar and BPD and stuff. And I went into a whole psychosis where I didn't trust anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why all these thoughts are kind of coming up for me then, thinking about this. Then is this when you're kind of going through like your spiritual awakening?
Yes, I started seeing things that were not good.
Oh, like what? I hope you weren't going in
Like
the
I would see
astral.
like black figures and stuff like that in the bed with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it just seems like there are probably shifts happening too quickly, too fast, but you were also opening yourself up to the astral, which
Yeah,
I
I
come
do
down.
have a dream kind of. I do that unconsciously when I dream.
Okay, yeah. So then you're kind of, that's a whole other conversation I'm not going to get into today, but yeah, I know what was happening. Because then you're opening yourself up also to like other energies that just aren't serving you very well.
Yes.
And then that like messes with your mind too. Like Aaron Carter had that for sure. Like I
Yeah.
felt so bad for that guy. Like I know for sure he was probably, through all that abuse he had as a kid, I just always sensed like he was opening himself up to energies that were not serving him, creating these like crazy behaviors. Because I
I
kind of think he's
definitely
an
saw
old
some of his
soul.
behavior with the erraticness and stuff with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk. There's
Okay.
a
Thank
lot
you.
we can do to help you here. So I have a whole team of healers that works with me too. So if you ever wanted to connect with them too, because they all have their specific like, but okay. So I kind of had, we'll go to the next person, we'll go to Heather. And it kind of made me laugh because we went from like true renegade rebel to Heather, and it was like a totally different energy completely. But Heather, have you done any spiritual work? I can't remember what you said in the beginning.
Not really. I have a very different belief system than a lot of people, and definitely believe in all of this. And I've had experiences where they just couldn't be explained by normal things that we try to explain them with.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just have a very open, broad view of being open to all of this.
Tell me. So, like, what things have you experienced?
So, like, it's really weird when I started thinking about it, like the way I met my husband was just, it was just out of the blue, out of nowhere. And then it was just this familiarity that we had, but throughout everything in our relationship, like the number 21 plays out in everything. Like we met
Okay.
first, he proposed on the 21st. Our daughter's birthday is the
Oh.
21st. We were both born at 9 p.m., which is the 21st hour. It's just crazy. I'm like, it's just, I don't know.
I
I've
gotta
always
look
been,
at spiritual meaning of 21. Angel number connected to your romantic partner. Interesting. Okay, so your guardian angels are delivering you this number as a message of their protection, is what I see, which is funny because I literally wrote down she has a massive group of angels constantly protecting her.
okay.
Okay, so let me just kind of share with you. It's like when I go into people's energy, like I can feel the difference of it. For example, like when people are carrying really heavy stuff with them, like, you know, the feeling of like a bass system, the sound, and it's like, oh, like you can really feel it. Like that's what it feels like versus when someone's like super, super high vibration, it's different. And I had someone reach out to me over a couple things when I first started doing this work. And as soon as I went into the energy, I go, oh my God. I'm like, I recognize this because I have angels coming out of my body. I go, she's an earth angel. I could feel it like right away. And I asked her, I'm like, are you like an earth angel or something? And she's like, I have never told anybody that. And I was like, yeah, well, vibration does not lie. Your vibration is like
So my birthday is 7/7/77. And I was born on my dad's
no,
birthday. His is 7/7/52. Yeah.
because I kind of suspected you might be an earth angel.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's like to that level, but you certainly at a soul level work with angels. And they were saying that you are you're like a new soul. You still have had around 60 lives, but like that's really not that many.
Okay.
So it's kind of like your specific essence was created specifically to hold light here on earth.
That's nice.
Yeah. But I asked and I could be wrong about anything that we're talking about today, anything. But I was asking if you had a past life with your husband and I got a no.
Hmm.
And it's not because you guys don't know each other or not connected on the other side, but he has had lots of lives here where there's this like energetic match that you kind of hold the space for him, but he also holds like the old soul wisdom on earth for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, she's considered a new soul, husband is not. The energy is light, kind of like a child, lots of blue and pink lights. Are you very sensitive?
Yes, I'm a Cancer.
Okay. Very sensitive, does things her husband can't quite understand.
He's a Gemini. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you're doing light work. I got an image of of angels looking over babies, peaceful, light, and nurturing, that you've had a lot of lives coming in specifically working with children, including a life as a nun.
Okay. I have 4 children. I just love being a mom. Like, I love my children.
Yeah. So there's something to do with your energy then when it comes to kind of holding that space for kids. Like, I don't know how, but it was just like very healing and stuff. But I was like, ooh, I'm like, I'm going to stay in her energy for a while.
Oh,
I actually felt, so yesterday I was not feeling super hot. I just, mostly because my toddler kicked me in the head like 25 times and I got 0 sleep. But I was actually energized after I was done reading you. It's like, it fills your cup up. I was like, ooh, this is nice.
thank you. Nice.
So yeah, but that's all I had on you, was that it was just more of like this angelic presence. But 7777, crazy. Like, what do you know about yourself? I'm curious if you know anything in terms of at a soul level.
No, I have no idea. I'm always curious about relationships, and I love to analyze those relationships that I have with like my mom and my dad. Like, I was born on his birthday, and my brothers and husband and children and stuff like that, and the dynamic of those relationships. But I have a very good life, very happy family life, a lot of businesses that I've built and created, and so a very good life. But
That's great.
I always have this weird feeling though that I'm going to die in a car wreck. Like, constantly I'll be driving, I'm like, I'm going to die in a car wreck. And I'm like, where does that come from? Because I'm 45, I've never even been in a car wreck. But it's such a weird, I get that thought all the time. And
Yeah.
I'm always like, did I die in a car wreck in a past life? I don't know. It's just it's always been with me.
Let me ask, has Heather died in a car wreck in a past life? I'm getting no.
Okay, it's something I've
Where is that coming from? It's something you saw as a kid.
okay.
It could have been like, it's quick TV.
Okay.
Someone made a comment about someone dying in a
Stuck with
car.
me.
Yeah. Because
With me.
it just is like, it takes 1 second and we create entire programs and paradigms over things.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. But every time I snap my fingers, my dog freaks out. She's like, oh, she snapped her fingers. It's okay, girl. But okay, so I thought I would have not enough time to go over everything, but those were the only people's lives I read up to this point. And we'll do this again. And those that are in here, I'll make you guys the priority for the next one. So everyone can get, their lives read. But I'll open it up. I mean, do you guys have any questions about reincarnation, how this stuff works, anything?
Is it true that you do have like a soul family though that you reincarnate with sometimes? Or, I mean, is that really true? I've read that.
Always, yeah. Yeah. So there are specific souls that we come in, it's like soul family level, that I don't know exactly how or why it works. And it's funny, I was actually just reading more deeper into this about relationships and how that works. And they were talking about this in here because if we look at it from just more of like a simplistic perspective, it's like we do create soul contracts with people. So like our parents, we have contracts with, our friends, the cash register person, even like these very, very brief moments. It's like the universe works in the most perfect, harmonious way. Like there's nothing that's as difficult as this is for the mind to understand. It's like there's nothing that's ever out of place. So the beauty of it though is that we have this ability to make choices, to go through different timelines. Like right now, we are existing in other realities all at the same time, which like my brain can't possibly fathom. So when we create specific contracts with other souls, it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you patience and you have to teach me mindfulness. And we're going to have that play out in so many different ways. But what happens along the way is we do create karmic imbalances. And those karmic imbalances are not based off this moral structure that we put into place, like good or bad, like at all. It's more like, are you doing your part showing up for me to teach me mindfulness? Because we have contracts with people that it might actually be in place for them to cheat on you. Like they did their job. That's what they were supposed to do. Them not cheating on you is creating a karmic imbalance because you were supposed to be like, let's say that happened to you, Amber. And you're like, what an asshole, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of forces you into a place where like you have to look at yourself and find ways for you to be happy. Like his actions are insignificant. And that's putting the karma in a balanced state. So we do create lifetimes. Oh, and we have this energy. Richard Rudd will explain this. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find it. Because he was saying that everything we follow on a soul level when we decide to participate in the reincarnation process, we follow along these fractal lines. How do I describe a fractal line? So like a fractal shape, a triangle. If you go inside the triangle, there's like 50 more triangles. And then inside those triangles, or more triangles, it's like the same shape. So we follow these specific patterns that move in a clockwise position, and our souls will always meet back up through the energy of those karmic energies. But then we choose what we do with them when they show up. So
Can you cancel those contracts?
Yes, you can.
Please.
You can, but it's not like as easy as you would think it is, because you might not like what's happening, but your soul is like, this is great. This is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. But where you cancel it, where you can cancel it, from what I understand, and the way Spirit shared it with me, it's like, you're not supposed to be abused. Like, we're not here to traumatize ourselves. It's out of free will that people like project these like very deep shadow aspects onto other people. So if you feel, for example, like your partner is being emotionally abusive, spiritually abusive, physically abusive, like the problem is that that trauma stagnates your growth and it stagnates your energetic field. So we want to like heal and clear that out because it's not really serving you. Now, there might be, and this is just a very blanketed statement, like maybe there was at some soul level, like you for some reason wanted to experience that because there's a very, very deep consciousness expansion happening. Maybe, but generally speaking, it's like, if you're not being treated right, like you have to make the logical decision too. Like, come on, let's let's take care of ourselves here. So in those circumstances, yes, absolutely.
And
I had, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask, like, how would you know if like your contract was fulfilled? Because I kind of feel like my contract is like, I kind of feel like I learned from someone what I needed to learn. And I'm trying to move on past that, but they're not.
Right.
They're not making it easy. So like, and like, if you feel that you've learned,
right,
walk away.
then it's over. Yeah. Because it's almost like when things get fulfilled, um, even though it's not that it's not sad or it's not hard to walk away, but there's just kind of like nothing left for you. You're like,
That's exactly how I,
yeah, it's done. But people will carry 20 years, a lifetime beyond what the contract is even in place for, because like they can't, the conscious mind can't fathom loss.
mhm.
But you're really losing out on all these like different experiences by holding on to people that just like really shouldn't be there anymore. Because also what happens is, have you noticed when people come into your life and you might have like a very like it feels amazing, whether it's like a friendship, love relationship, and you guys do everything together, and then it's like overnight, it's like done and you don't really know why. Well, the karmic balance was completed. And you don't want to stay in each other's life in order to like just create more karma. It's like it's done. So if you do feel like, again, I gotta find this chapter. Give me a second. I keep getting distracted. But he talks about this. The importance of commitment. You know, I'll post about it. I'll take a picture of it, but he talks about how it works when in our relationships when it's over and what that looks like, because there are relationships too that they end too early because neither of the two know how to properly deal with the shadow aspects of themselves.
I feel like that was me and my ex. I've learned so much from that relationship, and we're still like 5 years later fighting for no reason. We're not even together. He'll just randomly pick a fight, and then I won't know how to shut my mouth. It's just our shadows just don't mix.
Right. Because they're like, again, you can relate that to being a karmic pattern.
Oh, he's
And
definitely karmic. I know that.
when it's like though your two auras get together and they basically trigger those shadows, those energetic shadows that you carry inside of yourself. Just look at it as like a deck of cards, your shadows. It's like, okay, I'm a soul. I'm going to pick these 5 cards. I'm going to incarnate. And these are the 5 cards that I'm going to like maneuver through. It's like that person will significantly trigger that, but then it becomes so difficult and painful. Your solution is to break up, but it's kind of like you can't really run away from the shadow.
Yeah, I saw a lot of aspects that I didn't like in him that I have myself while
Yeah.
doing inner work and stuff. So I realized a lot of that was him reflecting onto me and me seeing things I didn't like in myself too.
Right. Right.
Mackenzie, what's that book?
So it's called the Gene Keys.
Thank you.
And this one is about love. Have you guys heard of this book?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it is so good. My Alchemist clients get this. Well, not this specific one. Shoot. There's a bigger book. Hold on. My whole computer is sitting on top of it. So this is, I joke, but I'm not joking. Like, this is my Bible. Okay, hold on.
Oh my God.
Okay. So all my Alchemist clients get this and we go through it. But it's fascinating because it will talk about how when you incarnate, how basically through your DNA structure will lay out all of these energetic imprints that you're looking to work out, like handle.
How much
with-
is the alchemy program?
It just depends because that specifically you're going to be working with me and a team of healers for like 5 or 6 months.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's a good program. I'll get into that in a second, but the point of this, like you can get this for like $20, but it will help you deal with those aspects of yourself that are creating conflict within your relationships. So there are different paths within your profile. The love one, this is the Venus sequence. There we go. So it kind of shows you through your life how things get played out. And I laugh so hard when I read it. I was like, this is why my husband makes me so mad. But okay, that's size. But all right, real quick, I can't believe we're already like at an hour now, which is great. Yes, I do have the Alchemist program, and you can work with me over a period of 5 or 6 months, however long it takes. But we really like deeply get to the root of issues in your life, and we start pulling stuff out quickly. So it's not for the weak, but it's so fun. Just yesterday, real quick, I have to tell the story. I'm so excited. One of my clients started working with me because she just feels blocked. Her relationships are terrible, but she has really, really, really bad dreams. And it kept her up, like she's never slept well. Well, we did some work, and I was like, let's do a little bit more past life work today. And I text her, I'm like, girl, you have to let me in. Like, she totally blocked me out. Can't get anything. And I kept seeing just like this one glimpse, a glimpse, a glimpse. And I'm like, there's not even enough here to like talk about. So I moved on from it. We tried doing some hypnotherapy work. She got into that same life, but she got just a little bit further and then black, nothing. And we're like, what the hell is going on here? I finally sent her over to Jacqueline, who is a queen at working with spiritual blocks. Like, this is her jam. I'm like, Jacqueline, I don't know what is going on with this girl. I can't get in. She can't get in. Let's clear this out. We didn't tell her what we were seeing. She went to that same life, and she was kidnapped, and it was a terrible life, but she was so spiritually traumatized by it that she's blocked anything that has allowed her, for first of all, for us to look at it. But it was hindering her relationships because the person that took her had this like love like thing for her. So it took her out of her world, so she doesn't get close to anybody. And we cleared that out. And ever since we cleared it out, she told me yesterday, she's like, this is the first time in my entire life I sleep deeply. No nightmares, nothing. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm really, really excited about that. So that's the kind of stuff we're working on. But I am opening up a new program for you guys just because the Alchemist is not for everybody. And it just is like kind of intense. I'm like, how can we make this a little bit more easy? So I created a program. It's inside Sōlchemy, and it's called the Quantum Creator. And it is an accelerated group healing program. So when you enroll, you do get one past life healing session with me. So there is one individual work session, but we're going to do monthly healing sessions. So we're going to do hypnotherapy work, clearing work. I'm going to have my other healers involved so we can remove energetic blocks. It's going to open up into new things, but you will have access to the online content as well. So let me just share this with you real quick so you can see what I'm talking about here. Hold on. Let me move this over here. So I had my husband set me up a double screen, and I get so confused by it. You would think I would be like figuring this out quicker, but okay, hold on. I'm just going to share my entire screen and see what happens. Here we go. So it's inside of Sōlchemy. So what we're going to do, the whole thing is tapping into your highest blueprint. So the main part of it is going to be, again, the healing work, because we want to open your vehicle, your body, your energy bodies open so you can start these creative downloads, moving your life forward. And it really is going to give you a taste of my world and what I do, but also what it's like to truly go down the path of healing. Tapping into your intuition, your higher self, working with your energy instead of consciously forcing everything. I have not created the content yet, which is why I'm giving you guys like a super, super huge discount. So if you want to enroll in this, you get them all the monthly healing sessions and the session with me. And like super cheap, I'm going to do it for $295 if you want to enroll, and I'll keep that price until Monday. But this will evolve over time too. And whatever you guys want, we're going to throw it in there. We'll have some fun with it. But you can watch I made a little, like the first module, if you truly want to see what it's about, just get in there. So I'll send you guys the link, and then I'll send you, you can purchase it through my Calendly invite, and I'll post that as well. But the price will go up on Monday, but I just want to start like getting people in here. It'd be so fun. And now we'll have like groups and master classes and like a little bit more of an intimate space versus just like the public space inside Sōlchemy. So, and we'll do a lot of past life work in here as well. But any questions?
No, just wanted to say I want that for Christmas.
Okay. Merry Christmas. I want to see you in there. There's a lot of work we can do with you. So I'm very, very excited. I'm always like, I'm like the spiritual nerd. I'm like, what's going on in that consciousness? I'm just kidding, kind of.
Oh, I have another quick question. So like when I have friends, ladies in their early 30s that are just dealing with like an onset of MS, heart problems, depression, you know, and I've spoke to a friend about doing some of this healing. Is that something that you see can alleviate physical damage in this life, that they can really come out of some of this? Because to me, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's not just some random thing. It's like there's toxicity in them that's manifesting these illnesses.
Yeah.
But is it, well, was this their purpose to go through this stuff? You know, like, how do you juggle which one is it?
Well, that's when you have to start doing the intuitive work. And this can be a little bit of a hard concept to grasp. And now we are going a little bit deeper. So if you guys don't really are interested in this conversation, that like, you're welcome to hop off anytime.
I'm sorry if I'm
No,
just thinking about how to help her. I'm like, would this help her?
I love this stuff because generally speaking, where there is illness, there is a defect in the subconscious. The body, there's never anything wrong with the body. The body is simply a compass communicating to you that there's something off. Now, there could be a soul contract being like I suspect this with a family friend who has MS, because it's like the family's been forced into certain things. And I'm like, I kind of have a feeling that that's playing out because he has not been open to anything that I do. And I go, it's because it's supposed to be that way. But sometimes it's like you get things. I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis 2 years ago, and it's horrible. Like I'm in so much pain all the time, and it happened like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really angry about it. And I did some Akashic channel work, and I'm like, okay, spirit, like what the hell is this about? Like, and they're like, basically there's been a really big mismanage of specific emotions of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to watch your emotions and like observe that so you can start moving that out. Well, when I got diagnosed, my doctor was like, how did you just notice this? Like your levels are like up here. This is like very progressed, but I didn't even have a symptom, nothing until 2 months prior to that. And I go, I don't know. But then I already kind of did know, but I'm not going to tell him like, well, I looked at some past lives, doc, like no way. Well, I had this thing in remission in 4 months because I went heavy into medical medium stuff. So like the diet stuff was big, but I had specifically a past life of major child abuse. And that triggered, here we go, full circle. The subconscious belief that I was holding on to myself was like, I'm a bad seed. That was the conclusion I made about myself, because I'm like, well, if everyone keeps beating me up, like I must just like be a bad person. So when I was going into my work where I was required to be seen, I didn't realize I was holding within myself. Like I was really afraid to be seen because I thought people would see me for who I really was. For some reason, I just kept thinking I was a bad person, but that's where it came from. But there was layer. We started clearing that and I could not even move my wrists. And then after that session, it was like, fine. So that's how quick you can start moving this stuff out. But when you have such a progressive state, for example, like MS, it's not going to be overnight because you have to like clear. Let me show you something. I'm going to share this again. So me and my team of healers, we just did this last week. Infertility and pregnancy, because this is very, very, very much related to, again, to all the stuff we're talking about and why people create subconscious blocks around this. Cindy does specific, like her line of work is removing energy blocks. So I'll see them too. They look like little black dots in your aura and it stagnates your energy and that will manifest into disease. So energetically, 98% of all disease, physical distress, imbalance, dysfunction in the physical body originates from blocked emotions, blocked energy. By the time it shows up as aches, pains, disease, dysfunction, blocks, there has been a bit, it has been there for a bit or is extremely heavy. Some of our heaviest blocks start and are solidified by the age of 7. So a lot of this stuff, if we were to really dig in, you'll find that it did start getting created young, because mine started getting created from the energy I was taking on from my mother at the age of 14. So that's when these past lives were getting triggered. I just wasn't aware of it.
So I had something similar. Gosh, it was 2008. I kept having my calves were expanding, edema, right? And my doctor just was like, oh, you're getting older, you're getting older. Finally, I had an echocardiogram and I had a mass on my liver that had killed off the right lobe of my liver. Nothing, like no pain, no nothing. And I had someone say to me, well, the liver's attached to anger. Yeah. I was stuffing so much anger down with my family and everything that was going on and just holding it down. And as soon as they said that, I was like, oh, shit. That's exactly what it was. And I knew it once that word was spoken.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Cindy said here too. She said, here, she wrote this. Did you read that or did?
No.
Oh, watch this. This is so funny. Anger can manifest in the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's really good about identifying exactly where this stuff is coming from. That's well, we can maybe do some stuff inside Quantum Creator too, as like addressing aspects within the body. We'll do some healing vortex work, and start moving out some of that pain. Because the problem is too, when it comes to healing, and just an FYI, like I am actually pro Western medicine. I'm not against it. In fact, I love my meds that I do have for rheumatoid arthritis. I take Advil when I need it, because the body is real. And like, if you're to a point where it's physically manifested, like, yeah, we could take care of the body. But it's like people will do things, for example, cancer, and they go through all this chemo and it comes back in 5 years. We didn't address the root cause creating the cancer to begin with, which needs to be addressed in the subconscious. So you remove the subconscious issue and the dysfunction. There's no reason for it to manifest again. So I'm all about like the full picture.
My brother-in-law, anxiety, depression for years and years and years and years. Horrible.
Mhm.
His retina detached last week. They go in and they're like, well, you think have eye cancer? It's like, And it's just been things that have been happening to him and happening to him. Like they thought he had cancer on his nose. They took a biopsy, nothing there. But it's like, I was talking to my husband. I was like, it's just the toxin in his body. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have eye cancer, or we don't know that for sure yet. But it is like people who are just dealing with all of this depression and anxiety. They're poisoning themselves and not getting
Right.
help.
Right. Right. There's just so much more to be addressed. And when it comes to mental health, like I like to tread lightly with that because like I don't know. Like I don't. Do I think that there are a lot of spiritual aspects? Oh yeah. Blocked energy. Absolutely. But I find that there's just so many different influences that like our health professionals today are absolutely required. Like, but I wish that I knew a little bit more on a deeper level what's going on because I don't. I don't. But what's happening, especially with all this illness and whatnot, constant anxiety and worry, like it is sort of this like we're not like taking care of the energetic bodies, like our aura, as crazy as that sounds, but we're not grounded. And then we let things snowball. And then finally our body has no choice other than to start like, hello, you have to handle this. But then people think, oh, it's just, we're not in that state of consciousness yet. We're like, oh, okay, let me go do some surgery and I'll wipe my hands clean of it. But it's like,
For me, with
okay.
mental health, holistic and Western medicine helps me. Like I'll go outside and ground, but I'll take my daily medication too.
Perfect. Absolutely.
I think both, having a
Absolutely.
healthy thing of both is really good.
I think so too. And I think it's like everyone's energy is so different too. It's like what your body and your mind needs is totally different than somebody else. So that's why you can't really put down any modality out there, even if it is pharmaceutical. Like you don't know
Exactly.
what's going to work for somebody because you just don't know. I saw again, it was another TikToker. She's like, I grew up in a household where it was like medicine is bad, pharmaceutical is bad, and blah, blah, blah. And she finally asked Spirit because she was suffering really bad depression. And they're like, what's your issue exactly? They're like, you have been treating it. Like you take herbs all the time. It's like the same thing. And then she got on pharmaceuticals and she's like, night and day. She goes, I feel so good. Like, why did I resist that so much? So you really have to listen to your intuition about what is right for you.
Yeah, we know our bodies better than anyone.
Anybody. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. Well, I think we'll leave it at that today. This was wonderful. I hope to see you guys in front of the Quantum Creator. We'll do some more past life work in there. And I'll organize another one of these again. So people who did not get their past lives read, I want to give them an opportunity to do that as well. Not next week, it's Turkey Day already. Crazy. So I'm off. My little guy is home all week. So it's kind of chaos for me. 3-year-olds, man, they are no joke. But then maybe the week after that or the week after that, I'll figure it out. But be on the lookout. We'll have some more. But it was so fun working with all of you. Thank you for joining
Thank
Sōlchemy.
you.
We'll get to know each other as time goes on here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.